Good evening, good evening. Hope you are all having an amazing evening. Not that there's any of you here yet, but that's great. I'm sure there's some people going to drop on this evening. I'm feeling quite chilled at the moment. And I don't know why, because I haven't been feeling great today, but actually managed to pull myself round in the last hour. Goodness knows why. That's probably because I've got the doctor's coat on. Although it's not a doctor's coat really, is it? It's just a paint splattered shirt. Hi Barbara. Now, I'm not going to wait for loads and loads of people to drop on before I start talking. I never do anyway, I just witter on usually, don't I? So that's what I'm just going to be true to form and do that. But tonight, I want you to call me Dr. Niche. This is my theme for the week this week. I thought this was a really important theme for the week. Now, you all know, those of you that have been following me, those of you who don't, so it's not really my name, Dr. Niche, it's Mandy Nicholson, and I am a creative genius consultant, and you're going to understand why this week that is what I call myself. But for tonight's purposes, I am Dr. Niche. So I wanted to talk this week, tonight and all week this week, about that buzzword, the word niche. Everywhere you look in internet land, everybody is talking about niching down and niche and how important it is. And it really is. I can't say anything other than it really is. But now, tonight, I really want you to get to grips with that. So hopefully you'll have seen yesterday's post where I posted about how doctors train for a minimum of 7 years, but they are not generic doctors. They specialize, they become niche, they specialize in a specific area. So hearts, lungs, brain surgeons, your GP is your diagnostic doctor, and they specialize. Yet we seem to struggle with that concept when it comes to our business. In particular, creative women. And I'm sorry, I'm going to call it out. And I'm calling it out because I actually struggled with that. I want to explore that. And the reason it's Dr. Niche is that I came up with a bit of an acronym. You know, lots of acronyms create themselves when you start thinking about the steps and the process that it takes you to get from A to B. There are people there, but I can't see you. So I can see one or two that have popped up, but there's people giving me thumbs up and likes, and I can't see your names. So I'm just going to keep talking like I always do, like talking to myself. So the acronym doctor lends itself to me talking about niche. And the D in doctor stands for diagnose. Hi, Leanne, lots of love. The D in doctor stands for diagnose, which I talked very briefly about yesterday. Woo, Leanne's here. I've got a fan. And I'm going to cover it all, so don't worry, I'm going to go back on it. O in doctor is the outline of your business. The C is communication. The T is for title. The O is for offer. And the R is for reach. So hence Dr. Niche. I'm going to talk you through all of these tonight, but don't worry, you won't always have to watch this back if I'm on here for an hour. Each day this week, I'm going to cover one letter. So yesterday, I covered D for diagnose, but I only did it really briefly because I knew I'd be talking about that tonight. So I want to start with the diagnostics. When we are going into business, it is every single person that I have come across so far has struggled with their niche and how to diagnose what it is they do and who they serve. So here is the common mistakes, or here are the common mistakes, that was bad grammar. Here are the common mistakes that I see really regularly. FOMO is the first one, and that's a buzzword as well as niche, isn't it? Fear of missing out. Trying to serve everyone so as not to miss a sale. And it's just one of the biggest mistakes you can make when you are in business, because nobody can serve everyone. That's like the doctor trying to fix every single body part and knowing the ins and outs and the detail of every nerve and every sinew and everything that goes wrong in every single different area of your body. It would be impossible, just as it is impossible for you to serve absolutely everyone in your business. Now, it's the hardest thing to let go of at the start, when it's particularly if you're starting a new business. Then we start to whittle down and we think we're starting to niche, particularly as women, and that's okay. I'm going to call it out as women. So we're then going to say, okay, I'll just serve just women. That's who I'm going to serve. That's my niche. I just serve women. Well, there's billions of women on this planet. So we try a little harder and then we say, okay, well, I'm just going to serve women between the ages of 18 and 55. That's still billions. You need to get closer than that. But when we're diagnosing, we've really got to get down to the nitty-gritty of who you serve and why you serve them. And I find when you're doing the diagnostic, the best place to start is with your story. Because your story is usually why you are doing what you're doing, or why you are choosing to do what you are going to do, or why you've got a plan in your head. Now, as usual, I can only ever use me as an example, so that's what I will do. So here's my story, and here's how I started to diagnose who I wanted to serve. Leanne, I'll have to watch on replay. Maddox kindly just woke up. Okay, Leanne, see you later. So, my story. So I understand what it feels like to be a frustrated creative. I understand what it feels like to be a frustrated creative. Why? Because I went to art college. It's all I ever wanted to do. I couldn't get a job in art. I ended up getting a proper job, and then I stayed in that proper job because I'd done well. It paid the bills. It actually gave me a good lifestyle. I was really good at it. And I left my creativity behind. But I understand what it's like to be a frustrated creative, because you never really leave it behind. I know what that feels like. I have been successful in my job. I have been successful in business. So I've had really successful career working for somebody else. During that time, I've done 6 coaching qualifications, so I'm qualified. I have coached thousands of people successfully. This is starting to build my story. This is what I know. And that's the best place to start, what you know. I've had 3 successful businesses, really lucrative, really successful businesses. So I know how to run a business. However, I was paralyzed with fear in applying all the things I knew to the thing I truly loved doing. So I was also a bit of an idiot, really. But you know, so many of us do that. We have this passion and this thing that we love and this thing that we want to do, but we end up on the treadmill of life. So I had all this pedigree of, I had the qualifications, the art degree, the coaching qualifications, the business qualifications, 3 successful businesses. I've also had a couple of not so successful businesses, so I've also made lots of mistakes. I've been through shit. I understand the mindset it takes to get through shit. So when you're telling your story and you really start to think about your story, it gives you a clue. The universe is giving you a clue in the diagnostics of who you can best serve. So I would be mad then, wouldn't I? So I've got a degree in art. I've had successful businesses. I've had a 25-year career in high profile, high pressure business. I'd be mad to call myself a life coach and be generic and put myself in that pool of coaches who serve anybody who trucks up with their £150 in hand. I would be mad. It's not niche enough. It's too broad. It's like a GP going in to do heart surgery. It's ridiculous. So for me, and this is why I use me as an example, because I've got this creative soul, I've got the business acumen, I've got the qualifications in coaching, I've got a history and a pedigree of coaching people, I need to niche down to serve the people that tick all of those boxes. So for me, niching down, and it's really hard to say, I can't serve every woman. I only want to work with women. I've worked with men in the past, and no problem working with men. However, I am a creative woman and I know how it feels to be a frustrated creative woman. So I want to work with frustrated creative women who want to launch creative businesses. Because guess what? I know how to do that. So your niche becomes that really, it's like whittling it down and whittling it down. So when you're doing your D for diagnostic, taking it as far down as you possibly can so that you can understand what you do best and who you serve best. So can I serve creative women who want to launch a creative business better than anybody else that I know? Absolutely. Why? Because a year ago that was me, and now I have a successful creative business doing what I love and helping women. So that's how the D in Diagnose, in the doctor acronym, is whittled down to make it finite. Niche is so important. It delivers your starting point of your business. And honestly, starting anywhere else is starting at the wrong end of the business. This is the very base foundations of where you build your business. So your next, the O, number 2 is the O in doctor. And the O is to outline how that comes together. So an outline of your business model. How are you going to do it? So you know what your niche is and you know who you want to serve. Then there needs to be some sort of plan of how you're going to do it. As I said before, it would be no good me just advertising myself as a life coach. I am very niche. But how am I going to do that? How am I going to serve these women? Well, it's not just about serving women. I also need to serve that frustrated creative in me. So I needed to paint pictures because that's my creative outlet. It's not the same for everybody. Some women like to make things, so they're very creative with their hands. They may make pottery. They may upholster furniture or upcycle furniture. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of creative women doing that. Okay, so I knew that part of my model needed to be the maker model because I'm going to make things. I'm going to make pictures. I am also an educator. I'm going to teach because I've got all these coaching qualifications and all this history of coaching and have my own business. And I'm a business coach and an educator. I'm also a consultant, so I can do one-to-one coaching or I can go into businesses. And I'm also a speaker. So that's the methods, the outline of how I wanted to take what I knew to the people I wanted to serve. That's all about keeping it really, really niche. And what that starts to build is not only multi-linked business models, but multiple linked income streams. Now, my creativity doesn't just come from painting, it also comes from writing. So I wrote my second book last year, and there's another 2 planned and 4 children's books. So my creative outlets are numerous. That's normal for a creative. So there are the paintings, the original paintings, the prints of the paintings, the books. So we've got residual income and passive income streams. Then there's the coaching programs that my signature program, my money mindset programs. There's one-to-one coaching, retreats and workshops. So there's multiple. That's how to start to outline what you want your business to look like. So where we're going now is the D and the O. Diagnosed, the niche, what you do, why you do it, and who you serve. And then start to rough up and outline what that looks like, what the business model is going to look like. Is it a number of different models that work together, that serve the same purpose? Or is it one thing you're doing? It should never be one thing you're doing. You should always have multiple income streams, and that I teach on my program. It's so important. You can never rely on one income stream, and this is where creative women often fall down, because they don't consider the implications of what happens if and how to create that support structure. The C in Doctor is then communication. Remember, this theme runs all week, and there would be a post every single day this week which covers one of these letters. Yesterday was Diagnose, tomorrow will be Outline, and then there'll be communication. Now, communication is literally the most basic of human skills that we have. We have this ability that sets us apart in the way that we behave towards each other. We have the ability to communicate with each other on that level. What we forget to do in business is do that really, really well. We assume things, and communication is one of the most important things you can do. Now, in the early days of when you are starting up your business and you've decided on your niche and who you're going to serve and you've outlined your business plan, the absolute best way to see how it feels, how it fits, how people will receive it, to tell people what you're thinking of doing, to test it in safe groups, and not on your friends and family, by the way. Don't test anything on your friends and family, because they'll either criticize you and put you down, and that happens, believe me, been there, done that, or they'll tell you you're wonderful when you're actually not. So if you want to test your business idea, your model, your niche, get yourself a group set up with a few ideas in it, invite people into it and see what it feels like and see what they think. But communication is going to be your superpower. Communication is vital. Good communication is vital. I'm communicating with you right now, not only verbally, but visually. And if you could see my hands, there'd be lots of hand gestures. That's why I try and keep them down here, because I'm very gestury. That's a creative thing as well. But visually, and we've got this major, powerful tool that we can use for free, absolute free and gratis, called social media. There are so many platforms. There are so many opportunities. And believe me, there's one thing I taught as a senior leader for many, many years, for the 25 years that I was in the positions I was in, is that poor communication is better than no communication. Because with no communication, nobody knows what's happening. Nobody has a clue. So even if you get on here and you don't like doing lives and you do it badly, at least you are communicating. If you get on and you type things out and nobody reads it, they won't not read it. They might skim read it. They'll certainly look at pictures and they may pick out key text. So any communication is better than no communication. What holds us back from telling people what we're about to do is fear. Nothing more than that. It's fear. It's fear of being judged. It's fear of looking stupid. Fear of not being as good as that we perceive somebody else to be. And it's always we perceive, because we're all equal in this world, you know. Nobody's better than me. I am better than nobody. That's the way it works. We're all equal and we all have equal opportunities. So communicate, but don't do it I'm going to tell you now, don't be spammy. Don't hunt, attract. Don't hunt or chase your potential audience down. If you communicate really, really well, effectively, consistently, in some sort of structured way, they will come to you. You heard I don't know whether any of you are really old enough to remember this, but if you build it, they will come. Now, what movie was that out of? I can't even see anybody's comments, so I can't even ask you to put it in the comments box, because I can see there are people on, but I can't see any comments. So if you build it, they will come. If you build it and if you tell people what it is you are building, they will come to you. Believe me, have faith in that. Even when it feels like you're on your own as an entrepreneur and that nothing's happening, they will find you. The universe tends to do that. And I know that sounds a bit woo-woo, but it's a fact. The universe tends to do that. You attract what you need, and you attract the people that are right for you. So communicate. People, your tribe will find you when they need you and when you need them. I actually had a message from somebody over the last 2 weeks, I'm not using any names, that told me that they were a hunter and they wanted to hunt down people in their lives. And I said to them, don't do that. Please don't do that. People will find you when they want you and need you. You don't need to go out hunting, being aggressive, adding people in Messenger and sending out emails and, telling people what you want to say. You don't need to do that. It's not a great way of doing it. Let people come to you. And they just didn't believe me. So I've allowed them to continue hunting because there's nothing I can do about that. But I'm telling you now, it doesn't work. Nobody likes it. Do you like it when you get a cold call? If you're sitting watching the TV at night and you get this person on the phone that does not breathe for a full 90 seconds while they get their spiel out, and you can't say, stop, I don't want what you're selling, bugger off or anything, because they're just on one. How annoying is that? Yeah, that's not great communication. If you know how that feels, then you should never ever do it. That's the C in doctor. We've got diagnose, outline, and communicate. So the next one, and I've got a great post later on in the week, you've got to look for this. I had great fun doing this post whenever T comes up. I can't remember which day it is. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe Friday. Thursday or Friday, watch out for it, it's great. And the T is the title and how you describe yourself to the world. Because how you describe yourself and how you talk about yourself is part of how you are going to attract your tribe, how you are going to attract the people to you that you need when you need them. And honestly, you can't miss that post. It's funny. You've got to watch that, whatever day that is. So you need to keep watching this week. That's my way of getting you to keep watching, just telling you there's a funny post coming up. Anyway, you can describe yourself however the hell you want. I'm going to go back to my comment at the start. If I describe myself as a life coach or a mindset coach with all the other millions of life coaches and mindset coaches out there, I would be invisible in the world. I'd just be another coach. And I'm not another coach. I'm a very niche, specific woman who helps specific women. So that's where I came up with my title, the Creative Genius Consultant, because I help creative geniuses to take their power back, to become the creative genius. I am a creative genius. I help women who are the same as me. You can call yourself whatever you like. Make sure it stands out, and that if you're niche, so is your title. Why would you be something great and niche and then call yourself something vanilla? Don't be vanilla. Be bright purple with yellow dots. Do not be vanilla. Stand out with your title. So I am. Here we go. And this is what you need a title for. This is your TV interview. 3 sentences. TV interview. It used to be called the elevator speech, but now, forget elevators, nobody does that. This is your TV interview speech. So I am Mandy Nicholson. I am a creative genius consultant. I am the founder of the Creative Business Academy. And I help innovative female entrepreneurs to launch or develop their creative business and make more money. That's what I do. You should be able to say that in just a few sentences, and everybody should know exactly what you do. I am Mandy Nicholson. That's my name. I am a creative genius consultant. I am the founder of the Creative Business Academy, and I help innovative female entrepreneurs to launch or develop their creative business and make more money, because I know how to do that. That's how important your title is. can you see the process that's coming up in this doc? Do you see where the acronym came from now? It just all fits. It's not very often that happens. Now, some of this, for those of you that watched How to Double Your Sales in 8 Weeks, some of this was in that live a few weeks ago, because there's nothing new in anything that we do. It's all about the consistent message from the day that we decide to create our niche business, every day, every week, and every month. And when you find something that works, do not deviate from it. So I'm telling you what works is really niching to your ideal client, to your perfect business that aligns with your values, your core values, and your heart-centered business, knowing exactly who you serve, knowing exactly how you're going to do it, how you're going to communicate it, and what you're going to call yourself. So those are your first 4 steps. Your next step is your offer. So we know what we're going to do. We've got our niche business that's very specific. It's not for every woman in the world. It's not for every person in the world. It's not for every woman between 18 and 55. It's for, in my case, it's for frustrated creative females who want to launch their own creative business, don't know how to because they haven't got the business acumen. They're creative geniuses, they're not business geniuses. I've had a very lucky life in many ways, unlucky in others, but very lucky in many ways that I've got both. So I've put them together and said, I can do this. So the next part is your offer. And what you've got to be able to do here is really get to the heart of your client, and tell them exactly how you can help them. So we've identified the niche and we know who we want to serve. Now you've got to love them and really, really care about them to the point that you really, really know, without even a millisecond of a doubt, how to help them. Now I call mine Miss Creative Chaos and Miss Creative Power. And I'm going to describe to you how Miss Creative Chaos feels. She feels really frustrated. You know where I got that from? Because I know how that feels. She feels really frustrated in the job that she's currently doing. She doesn't feel valued in the job that she's currently doing. It's not what she really set out on this earth to do. She feels boxed in by the expectations of society, of family, and of the industry that she's ended up in, and the industry that she wants to be in. So that's it's almost feeling like trapped. She's trapped. She feels limited because Miss Creative Chaos knows she's got this huge capacity for genius, and it's not happening daily in what she does in her daily work life. Imagine how that feels. I know how that feels. It's like something is missing from her very core. There's a void. Something's missing. And she really knows that she's worth more, worth way more than what she's doing right at this moment in time. She may well even have friends and family members telling her to just get on with the day job or do a proper job, or it's nice to have that creative outlet as a hobby, isn't it, Miss Creative Chaos? And what happens is all of that pent-up frustration and the void that she feels manifests itself in different ways. So it can manifest itself in depression or anxiety. It can manifest itself in instant gratification. So she could be going off buying nice things, so artwork or nice pretty things for her home, handcrafted by others, because she feels so frustrated that she wants these nice things around her. So she surrounds herself with this nice stuff for instant gratification. She self-sabotages any idea. So she might get up in the morning fully fired up and say, right, I'm going to make change happen. And then by lunchtime, she's sabotaged it. And that's because of all this pent-up frustration, because that's also causing low self-esteem. And it's causing low self-worth. And that's happening because Miss Creative Chaos is not doing what she truly loves. It can also manifest itself in criticism and judgment of others. And she can come across as not a very nice person sometimes when she's being overly critical. And she's doing that not because she really feels like that about others, but because she feels like that about herself. Then what else she is also experiencing, and because she's Miss Creative Chaos, is creative blocks. It may be that her creativity is founded in painting or making greetings cards or upcycling furniture or writing short stories or books, but can't do anything because she's blocked. And she's blocked by this compaction by society's views that she should be just getting on with her life and be grateful she's got a job that pays the bills, where in actual fact, it's all like this negative swirl inside her. That's why I call her Miss Creative Chaos. Where does that link to offer? Your offer needs to solve that problem. And how I solve that problem is by serving Miss Creative Power. I turn Miss Creative Chaos into Miss Creative Power. Miss Creative Power has confidence in her own abilities. She's not afraid to do things that are different. She's a bit of a trailblazer in society. She'll take risks. She has bucket loads of charisma and can influence people. And she knows that no matter what she does, she's going to make money because she knows her stuff. She's got confidence in her creative style. She's got confidence. She doesn't care that it's a bit out there. She's going to do it anyway. She doesn't care that she perhaps hasn't written the perfect book. She's published it anyway. She doesn't care that things aren't 100%. She's going out there and she's getting her creativity out there in the world. That's Miss Creative Power. So when you're creating your offer, and obviously you're not me, so you have to apply this to you and your niche and who you're going to serve, you have to understand the pain that your client is current, and you really have to understand that pain, hence Miss Creative Chaos. But you also need to understand the flip side of it, how you solve it for her or him, depending on who you serve, and how you're going to put that into your offer and how you're going to communicate. We go back to communication. How are you going to tell Miss Creative Chaos that you are going to help her become Miss Creative Power? And that comes from your own self-confidence that you have picked the right niche and you've got it right and you're serving the right person. That's offer. That's your offer. That's the O in there. And then when you are ready to reach out properly, you've really got this business plan in place. You know, like you know who you are serving. You know them so well and care about them so well because you know how it feels to be them. You can feel their pain and you have the solution. There you are with your white flag. You are there and you have their solution. How do you tell them? This is how you're going to reach them. You have to reach that person and let them know how well you know them. Now we have the conduits. I'm going to go back to communication here. We've got to reach them in a purposeful way. So again, no hunting. No going out there seeking people, telling them that you've got this great program or you've got this great offer or that you can do this great thing. You can solve all their problems. Nobody wants to be approached in the street. Yeah, you wouldn't stand outside Greg's, okay? We're in the Northeast, so I'm going to use Greg's. Yeah, how would you feel if you were walking past Greg's and somebody pulled you inside and said, you look bloody starving, buy a pasty because you look hungry? That's a bit rude, isn't it? But by turning up in somebody's inbox, telling them that they should buy your program or your product or your service, that's exactly what you're doing. Or it's like standing outside the gym and waiting for someone to walk past and going, you look a bit fat, why don't you come and join my gym program? How offended would you be at that? Yeah, but that's what it's like when you pop into somebody's inbox that doesn't need you or want you yet. You have to show up and tell people that you understand them and that you can solve their problem. And let them come. We're going to go back to this migrating towards you, because they'll come to you. It's no use forcing yourself. It's no use standing outside the gym and pulling people in and telling them they're fat. That's just not going to work, because they could be quite happy as they are. They may not be ready. Their mindset might not be ready. For every miscreative chaos that's out there for me, she may need to stay in chaos for another few years before she realizes she's ready to become Miss Creative Power. I can't go and knock on her door and say, hey, you need to come with me and you need to do this, because I know I can help you. I know I can help her, but she needs to be ready for help. And if you're not ready for help, then it's not the time. No matter how many people call you, drag you into the gym, or drag you into Greg. It's pointless. So when I say reach, I truly mean reach out purposefully. Show the people that you are communicating with, that you're talking to on a live, that you are posting to in your text posts, that you are responding to in emails and in Messenger. You genuinely care about them. And it's okay. Here's a tip for you. It's okay if somebody adds you as a friend, okay for you to ask them a question. I do that all the time. Some of you may have joined me on Messenger and I asked you a question. I've said, hey, great to connect. And then when you've said, hey, I've said, right, most people reach out to me because I help people do this. Is that you? Because I want to establish if they are in pain, if they are Miss Creative Chaos. And they may be Miss Creative Chaos and not ready, in which case they'll say, no, that's not me just now. Or they may never be Miss Creative Chaos and they're a hunter and they want to sell me something. Or may get totally offended by me asking that and delete me, which happens a lot, because when you ask people a question as abruptly as that, sometimes that's what happens. And that's okay too, because it means they're not ready. And you can't force anybody to do anything until they are ready. It's like telling a drug addict they can stop taking drugs tomorrow and they'll be perfectly fine. It doesn't work like that. Above all else, when you're using your doctor acronym, can't say acronym, I just said it. Yeah, when you're using that acronym, you need a strategy, because you can't just go all willy-nilly. This is why I tried to put it in some sort of order that's easy for you to remember, that you can go away, that you can write this down, that you can start working on this right away. This is information for you to get stuck into right away. That's what I want to do, is to help you to realize where you are. And some people will be able to help themselves. Some people will not be ready. And somebody might just have that light bulb moment and say, goodness me, I'm ready for this now. That's why I share with you each week something that's going to be of value to you, because there's no use me having 30 years of business experience and life experience and screw-ups and successful businesses and crappy businesses and all those qualifications and not sharing it with the world. That would be really selfish of me. However, I also have this ability, and this is something else I'm going to touch on over the week and in coming weeks, that creative, and that's charging the correct amount of money for the products and services that they sell. I have no problem doing that because I've been in business so long, but so many women get to a certain point and then go, oh, I can't possibly charge that price. It just doesn't feel right. And that's a money block. And included in my program, I do a money mindset program because of that, because so many creative women struggle with that as well. I recognize that. Not just creative women, many men, most people I know struggle with money blocks. And it's part of that evolution of opening yourself up, your mindset up to what you're ready for, to really delving into what you're ready for. when I started, I knew I was a frustrated creative. I knew I had a lot of those feelings that Miss Chaos had. That's how I recognize her. That's how I know her. That's how I love her. Because I recognize a lot of those feelings. When you start delving into all of that, you come up with blocks. And 1 year ago, and most of you know that have watched me in the past, 1 year ago, I was doing a completely different job, a really successful business that was giving me regular, predictable income. Why on earth would I leave that to take a complete leap of faith to do what I've always wanted to do? Because I had a strategy, a really, really clear strategy. I'd made it work before in 3 businesses. So I knew that this strategy would also apply and work to the thing that I loved most. And I turned myself from creative chaos into creative power. And I didn't. The double side to that. What I recognized was that I had all of this niche talent that I could help other women with, but I had some gaps. So I hired a business coach last year so that I could get from A to B quicker, so that I could help the women I wanted to serve quicker. That was a decision that I made and an investment I made in myself. And that's an important part of this as well. When you are diagnosing your niche and who you want to serve, and you're outlining your business, and you are communicating, and you're setting up your strategy and your marketing strategy, and you're coming up with your title, some of you will be able to do it on your own. Some of you might be able to do it on your own, and it might take you 4 years. Let's be realistic about this. Nobody has a successful business in a month. Nobody. Not me, not anybody. You might be able to do it on your own. It might take you longer. It's all about where you want to make an investment in yourself and whether you want to get there quicker. That's part of your strategy. It's not a pitch. This is me being just plain honest with you about the pitfalls, the ups, the downs, the roundabouts, the swirling chaos that's in there, and then the power on the other side of it. It is extremely empowering when you follow your real life's purpose, your real joy, the thing that is sitting inside you that you want to do. And then when you start helping others to do the same, that is really empowering, not only for you, but for other people. So if you are going to sit down with your Dr. Acronym, see, I said it wrong again, acronym, make sure that you are making all the considerations in each area fully, and that you are including in that plan a potential investment in yourself. So I'm going to go over all of these again. Keep watching for my post. Remember my funny post in a couple of days? Don't miss that. That's really funny. I'm great fun with it. Anyway, so D is your diagnostic. Don't try and serve everybody. Don't have FOMO, fear of missing out. Don't think that you'll fail to take your financial targets because you don't serve the entire world. You have to niche it down. You have to diagnose it. Yeah. Understand your own story and why you want to do what you want to do. If you want to create ice lolly makers because you as a kid never had a great ice lolly, and that's your story, then that's good enough. Whether it might make you $1 billion, I don't know. I can't say it wouldn't, but it has to come from somewhere. It doesn't matter what it is. Step 2 is to outline your business model. Understand what you are. Are you a maker? Are you an educator? Are you a consultant? Are you a service provider? Are you a speaker? What is it? What's your business going to look like? Or is it a mix of all of the above? And if it is, how is it? How do they fit together? How do they synergize with each other? And how do they make for a really good model? Number 3 is to communicate, attract your tribe. Don't hunt or chase. Allow them to migrate to you, because they will. With the right message, you will attract the right people. Number 4, your title. Describe yourself as something different. Don't be another coach. Be something different. Don't be another artist. Be something different. Do something that stands out so that you don't disappear in the quagmire that is the internet and social media these days. Number 5, your offer, know your ideal client, love them, know their pain, feel their pain, get a descriptor for that pain, and understand the opposite side of it and how you're going to solve that pain for them. And then finally, reach your ideal client in a purposeful way, with a strategy and with an approach that shows care and attention, not just aggressive sales technique, because it doesn't work. Nobody likes the cold caller, remember? Nobody wants to stand outside the gym, dragging you in, telling you that you need to lose weight. It doesn't work. I hope that that has been of use to you this evening, and that you can sit down with your piece of paper and your pen now from Dr. Nish here, the creative genius consultant. I hope that has given you your next steps in those first few faltering steps that you are going to take into your business. Because once you toddle past them, remember, none of us could walk. We all kind of shuffled. Then we stood up and fell down, and then we stood up and fell down again. Yeah, and then eventually we had this teetering, wobbly walk towards the couch or the nearest unit, and we got there, and within weeks of that we were running. You've got to start somewhere, and starting in a sensible, structured way and really thinking about you and the people that you serve is going to be the best way to be running down the back garden in no time at all. So thank you for tuning in this evening. Sorry I couldn't see any of your comments tonight. Facebook is wacky at the minute. You know, it used to be great. You used to be able to interact with your audience. I'm going to go back, and if anybody's made any comments, I will interact with you later. So if you're watching this now, please feel free to make comments, and I will come back to you. If it's on replay, still make comments. Let me know that you're here on replay, where you're coming in from, and what your questions are, and I'll definitely come back to you and answer them all. It may be tonight, because I have to then upload this to YouTube and share it on the group, but I definitely will come back to you. Thank you. I will see you all again next Tuesday, same time, same place, and I've got some meaty content for next week, so don't miss. Bye.